Watching cartoons separates you from others.
All right, so welcome to another episode of Tool for Cartoons. You wondering why I have a witch hat on and I'm in my blue robe? I feel in black mages today. Like, you know, it's October. As of this recording, it's going to be October. You know, I wouldn't say it's my favorite time of the year, but it's an exciting time of the year because things for me and my happiness get sell for the low, not just in October, but November too. And yes, because if you think about the Halloween special after Halloween, you get things for the low. I get little knickknacks for the low, just like how I got. Anyway, let me introduce my cohort. Archie couldn't make it today because she was sick, but we got Mr. Hero Decimus in the building.
Pleasant good day, everyone. How y'all doing? Good morning. Good morning. To this day. All right.
You can, with the mic in your hand, you can do all that.
Yeah, that's why I missed the thing.
Yeah.
But it's with purpose. I want to.
The last time I saw Gabe, we was getting wet.
You can cut that. You can cut that out. You can stop right, Flipper. You can stop right there. I'll have to stop you right there, Chief.
Gabe came late, straddling in. Also, we have PG in the back. PG was there, and I was profiling. I was like, "Where's Gabe?" Gabe was talking about taking flat tummy tea.
You trying to set me up?
But you know, we could get into that at another time, on another episode. But yeah, what's the first? Well, we have guests in the building.
Yeah,
we can get to them. We didn't want to get to them quick because I got a whole intro and Gabe what to get up.
Let me do it, boss. Come on. Let me break his kneecaps.
Not yet.
Right, fine.
So, since for Archie and Al, we have word of the day.
Word of the day.
Yeah. Well,
You think I have word of the day?
I have word of the day. That's why I said, wait, I had it
All right.
before you called.
Go.
The word of the day is cosplay.
Cosplay.
Yeah.
Can you use it in a sentence?
I love to cosplay.
Any more info about the word? Noun, adjective?
It's the combination of costuming and playing. But since the invention of this word, we don't refer to costumes as costumes. We say you cosplaying.
Oh, All right, decent. I actually want to hear what you had for random fact of the day. I'm gonna still say mine.
Okay.
But I want to hear what you had because now I'm intrigued.
What I had for random fact today is
Yes.
cosplay can be anything.
And that's why we let me do the segment.
No.
Anyways, here's my random fact of the day. Did you know that initially cosplay was actually called costuming?
Yeah.
And
That's where the word come from?
Yeah. I didn't know that.
The more you know.
Put the star thing over my head. The more you know. But yeah, it began in the late 1930s in North America when sci-fi Forrest Ackerman appeared at a sci-fi convention in a futuristic costume. The World Cosplay Summit is the most well-known cosplay contest held in Japan. That's pretty cool. That's random fact of the day.
But why I also said my random fact is when I say you could cosplay as anything, it don't necessarily have to be fictional. It could be real people.
That much is true.
Like for instance,
okay, go.
Like for instance, I could cosplay as the mayor of Lazytown.
Okay.
But simultaneously,
You said it don't have to be a real person.
yeah. Let me finish.
I was gonna go into a tangent on identity theft, but I mean, you keep going.
But simultaneously, I'll be cosplaying as Brave Davis.
That's it. I'm not legally allowed to deny or accept that. But you do what you do. I'm not mad at you. You do what you do.
And this is the random facts of the day, brought to you by Gabe.
Yeah.
So next we have community announcements.
I actually just finished my play As You Like It. At the time this drops, we actually have 2 more showing nights. That is the 6th and the 7th of October at the Dundas. These are the final 2 showing nights, and it's been a wild ride, but we're done. I also have thank you. I also have another project that I can't disclose because they made me sign contracts and I won't last in prison.
You moving up in life, bro?
Huh, boy, I was geeking right out. Because she said, here's this. I said, what's this? It literally has actor contract on top and all the details. And I'm like, I'm elevating. I'm evolving. This is normally I just do this for free, for fun, for glory, for experience. But they're giving me money now. Dude, I almost fainted and I said, finally, it's about dang time. But other than that, no other projects that are too notable are going on right now. I am.
Actually, you do have a notable project. It is time.
What is it? Oh,
for the homemade heroes, your homemade heroes.
I don't know if you want me to disclose that because I don't know if he was the kind to say, well, you didn't sign the contract, but you know what you were in for. So now I'm going to have to take your kneecaps, Gabe, and then you take me into the back room and I'm never seen again.
No, it's about that time. But we've been putting this off long enough. The script been done for months.
Yeah, I've been busy. Busy as all shell.
But this is going to be a crowning moment. The homemade heroes universe won't be the same.
All right.
But also, we still didn't get the results from that PSA for the red gals gone.
Like you say, but you know the person who coordinated.
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about that. And we have, anyway, I can talk about one of our guests about that. But community announcements, we're gonna be at the Geek Out hosting a panel at the end of the month. Please, people, put this camera on me.
Yeah, you on.
The Geek Out has a page.
Yeah.
Stop coming to me and asking me when the Geek Out is. Talking about I is Mr. Geek Out. And I, like, someone come in my chat about that the other day. I say, bro, Mr. Geek Out is Ed, the co-founder.
Yeah.
I'm just Jesse Summers.
Van aware, actually.
And I'm two. They have a Facebook and Instagram page, bro.
Yes.
So-
Facebook, Hentai Productions, yes. Is that what you think it is? I know you're looking at me funny like, you know good and well what it means. Facebook appropriate.
A Facebook appropriate.
Take that.
So we got our panel.
I want to stop. I want to keep egging you on.
Okay, so we have our panel at the end of the month. Yeah. So we have.
I'm very much one and done.
Oh man.
All right.
So we have our panel. You know, embracing your inner villain, and I'm gonna be one of the biggest, baddest villains ever. Come out. But before the Geek Out, we're gonna have our Halloween special, where last year we was committing to extreme blasphemy. Gabe with the play-by-play.
We?
Yeah. Well, no, y'all.
And now you just keep going.
Because Archie, well, actually, she would be actually honest this time. Let me tell you how.
Okay.
Because she could actually say Jesse was a wizard.
Well, we wasn't doing that. We were talking. I remember last year very vividly. We talked about scripture and how some of the things that occurred in it was just downright strange. But I don't want to relive. Hey, you want to see it so bad? Go watch the episode. Go run that up. Yeah, you
go
do that.
run
Do
that out. So yeah, that's a bit for community announcements. We can disclose more. We got all kind of crazy things up for you soon. But the moment is here.
Can I do it, boss?
Hold on. Let me set the mood up for you, bro.
All right.
Because we got some all-stars inside there, bro.
Now connected to Galaxy.
We got the dream team inside there, bro.
Is there an audio limit on this?
No.
If I get too loud on this, it's just...
Yes, keep it low.
Okay, sure. Just checking.
Bro, we got the dream team, bro. That's like the 90s.
Who the dream team is, dog? What
The
you
90s,
mean?
it's like the 90s Chicago Bulls are inside there, bro.
You serious?
Yeah.
We have the Bulls here?
We have the Bulls here, bro.
Aye, man.
The dynasty. The dynasty.
Who there is, man?
Man, put the camera on our guest. Gabe, go right ahead.
Behold, straight from... You're on the mic, dude. Straight from the cosplay world, we got...
Sjslayscosplay.
Yeah, baby, we got...
Save you.
Yeah, and...
Crochet.
Straight from... Not Compton. Straight out of Nassau, baby. Heck yeah.
How you know they from Nassau?
Huh?
How you know they from Nassau?
Thank you.
Crowd cheering noise.
Oh, man.
I'm
Y'all gotta
not from
excuse Gabe.
Freeport.
Huh?
I'm not.
Hey, we ain't tuning into that meme today. That's another meme. It's another day.
Technically from Exuma.
Exactly, that's why I say how you can say they from Nassau.
Correct me and...
Cat Island in
she's
the house.
My bad. You got me there.
Straight
So
out of
we-
Bahamas for sure.
Yeah.
Straight from Mama. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we have the winner, the previous winner, 2022's Caribbean Cosplay Championship winner. She is known by Carp Crochet Cosplay. On the far right, we have the 2023 Cosplay Caribbean Cosplay Championship winner, Siriu in the middle. And we have the legendary The Godmother. I just call you the Godmother. Everybody else is called her Cosmo. We got SJ Slays. Yeah. All right.
Number one Cosmom in the
So,
multiverse. Number one Cosmom in the multiverse.
Number one Cosmom in the multiverse. So, how do we begin? So, ladies, thank you for joining us on Tool for Cartoons. You are our first guest on this show. Previously, Shannon was a guest on my other podcast that's about to hit 100 episodes. Ever and cool. And this was back in 2019. And that was such a long time ago. Actually, we will insert a clip from that right here. Now we back. And things were so in its infancy when it came to our local community here in the Bahamas as it pertains to cosplay. I was just sort of coming around. I only had 2 cosplays at that time. Now I got 20-something. Yes, bro. And I'm counting. So, and then it's like, all the new different faces over the years, because this was literally almost 5 years ago. And I remember me and Shannon sitting on that Starbucks balcony on Cable Beach. And we were saying how we can try to grow this thing. And 4 or 5 years later, it's here. Speak on that.
That was, it's crazy how at the time it felt like it was going to take such a long time. And then now we are here about not even 4 years later from me starting, and we have a thriving community. Not just in Nassau, but in the other islands as well.
Indeed. And then also, we're experiencing the Bahamians that also cosplay overseas connecting back home. And it's like, even with, shout out to Petty Guardian. Yeah, she was like, I didn't even know we was having a Bahamian meetup at Bluricon. I was like, you Bahamian? She was like, yeah, I left Bluricon to come home for independence. I was like, oh, all right. And then you seeing others pop up at different cons, and there's now this whole convergence to where it's like, okay, now we know and understand this is a thing in the space. Well, let's get started with how did y'all, we could go from Caraba, I know if you want to go first. How did you get into cosplay?
Well, I guess with probably most of us, Ashley added me on Facebook and was like, hey, we're doing this thing called The Geek Out, like we watch movies, etc. And of course, like I've heard other people say, those first few months I was too introverted to even try to go. But I had seen Shannon's cosplays.
Y'all like use my government name, boy.
SJ's cosplays. Sorry. Cosmom's cosplays. Specifically Misty, and I didn't play that video game, but there was one fighting.
Oh, Cammy?
Yes.
From Street Fighter?
Street Fighter?
Yes.
Green?
Well,
Green
there was another
leotard?
one where you wore shades.
Was that the Tomb
That's
Raider?
Tomb Raider.
No.
Tomb Raider.
Or Sonya Blade.
Small Combat.
Yeah, it's Sonya Blade. It was a Lara Croft.
Yeah, I've done a lot of video game cosplays.
And I saw that and I was like, well, it seems like they're okay with that. And then I when I was discussing with my sister with going, and I was like, but I kind of want to like stand out in a way, and she was like, you should just use your crochet. And for me at the time, that was more of an on and off hobby. But of course, I wanted to improve on that too, so I just decided, I was like, what's something cute and pink? And then I just chose, the theme was Pokemon, that Geek Out, so I did Fluffy, and people really liked it.
Really?
So yeah,
I'm
that's
people.
actually my second geek out. The
I
first geek
identify
out-
as people.
Yeah, the first geek out was my sister cosplayed as Steven Universe, and she won the popular vote, or like was close to it, maybe. No, I think she won.
I think she won, yeah.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
And then I did Flappy the next time and somehow won also. So that that kind of sealed the deal.
Somehow.
Somehow.
That
Yes.
had nothing to
'Cause
do
that was the
with
best. That was
talents or.
super
I
rad.
don't know.
I don't know. I was like, I didn't expect anything. I just did it for fun. And then, yeah.
Well, that's the best type of victory, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I remember this young lady in the middle. This one right here. I had just did my first Black Panther, like my first version of Black Panther, like 2018, and I met Deneva the first time. What the hell? Government name. I met Serio. Serio. I met Serio for the first time. We was on the cycle tour. And then it was Halloween, and I brought my Panther mask, and she was like, all shy. Like, Cooler was more talking to you, like.
So I try to find, I guess you could call it like safe spaces.
Yeah.
That wasn't like a club, because I used to be like, I went to a club like totally on my own in a costume before, but I didn't like the experience. So
Yeah, I can
so
see.
I was trying to find something else. So that came up, and I was like, oh, I'll try this.
Yeah.
So that's how I got
Is it a
this.
step up from the club?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Bro, we was drinking and riding around Nassau, carrying on dead body in the middle of the night, bro.
Coco, I'm saying, you can't swap this thing up, you gotta move this.
Yeah. And then I still have the bell. I still have the video and photos from that night and everything. And it was like, so when years later, I can't remember, what was the first? It was one, I don't know if it's No Name. No Face. Oh, I keep on thinking about the rapper, No Face. I don't know if it's No Face, where it was like, I saw you and I was like, this energy feels familiar. I didn't feel like I know this person. And then it was you and I was like, wait, I ain't seen you in a long time. Welcome.
I didn't remember you.
Nobody, John.
Bad with faces, okay? Terrible with faces, even worse with names.
I don't know if it's that particular cosplay or it was another one, but how did you finally take that leap and say, wait, I'm about to start doing this?
Like I mentioned, I always love Halloween, so I've always been like an annual participant in Halloween activities. So it's only once a year, and I only doing it once.
So you only come out once a year, and then you return to hibernation until Halloween.
I don't leave my
So let me
house.
ask you, so you was being a normie at first?
What do you mean?
That you only dress up during Halloween?
No, you always used to dress up for Halloween.
No, I'm saying you only dress up for
Oh
Halloween.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now you ain't no normie no more. You dress up all the time.
What's a butt?
Like that.
Yeah.
That's decent.
But yeah, that's what I started at the cage.
People always talking about this legendary
I've only
cage,
ever
and I didn't hear
heard
about
of
it.
legends, bro, about this place.
I don't like that.
I was probably in school.
Because so many people I know now that I didn't know back then were part of that, and I didn't know them. But now it's like, oh, you were there too. Like,
Actually, you know what? Leisha,
No, Ringo too.
sorry, Ringo, my bad.
I just
See, I'm so used to
have a
doing it
car.
because, like, at cons and stuff, it's considered like safe. So, like, I make myself like call people by their cosplay or their handle so that it's like I don't put you in a position where it's not safe for you.
Yeah, Ringo was there. I remember. Did she do Cora? Was Cora out at the time?
No, she didn't do car. She did
She did. She did. Yeah, she did.
Thingham
that
did
one.
Tough.
Thingham, K-Shot.
Yes, she did Tough, and that was really amazing. And then somebody did like who was that? That was Rashad. He did like it was like a game character. His was really cool too. So, yeah, the cage. But I think before the cage, it would be safe to say that I started doing costumes per se. I wouldn't straight out say cosplay at college because the art community at COB at the time, they used to have these theme parties every year. And I did a few of those. I did the nerd one, I did the goth one, and I did the animal one. So I've always been in that space. It was only like a once a year thing because it was still just the one party for the year. But I did that. My my first cosplay was in fact at the cage. It was the young black male character from Gundam Build. He had locks.
Okay. This was Gundam series from the 80s or 90s?
No, this is a recent one
This
at the
was the
time.
2000s one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was. I think it was the first that I could recall black character in Gundam.
Okay.
I really loved Gundam at the time. So, and I thought, and it was so well drawn. It wasn't like a caricature of black people. So I was like, I gotta do that.
Have you ever done any cosplays of Gundam characters? Yes, no, maybe. Other than him?
No,
Okay.
I haven't. Like, you mean like the actual mechas? Yeah. Not yet. I already say it.
That'd be pretty high. No one would expect it.
You're not far from there though.
Man.
You're not.
It's just a nice, still small.
I don't know if you've seen, but the one of I can't remember if they won a place or not. I think they did. I think they won like a fan favorite.
In the company.
Last year in the Caribbean cosplay champion,
Yes.
a guy
It was like an
Sabon,
honorable mention.
Yeah, they had
from Jamaica
a Gallagher
won.
gun too, and it was spinning and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty hype.
So Shannon,
Government names.
I'm a bleep out. Hey, I'm a bleep out all these names when I
Like
in
it's
the edit.
cuss
So,
words.
we got you. So SJ, how? Because I feel for the people, because I've heard your cosplay story like time and time again, but just for the people of Tool for Cartoons, tell us how you initially got into it.
I like that we're having this discussion, and it kind of brings back a question that was asked earlier about like what was your first cosplay, and well, what do you mean by cosplay, and what do you count as cosplay? So for this question, I'm answering from the perspective of this is the first time that I called myself a cosplayer, and I did it with the intention of knowing that I was cosplaying. I've always wanted to cosplay. I remember, and I'm going to age myself a little bit, it's fine. I remember back when the Bahamas was just getting internet, and like we got exposed to all kind of things, and like cosplay was one of the first things that I was like, as a nerd, as a weeb, that I was like, oh my God, I wish I could do that. And I always thought like, oh, I'd have to go away to foreign or stateside or whatever to do it. And I always put in the back of my mind like, oh, it'd never be accepted here. I can't do it here. Until the popularity of the MCU burst everything out of control. And then I remember distinctly for Black Panther going to the theater and seeing everybody dressed in black, all black or African print. And I was like, oh,
The dashiki.
I was one of them too.
I was also one of them.
I was with it.
But I was like, oh, y'all are cosplaying. Y'all don't realize you're cosplaying, and it might not seem like if it's just all black, they'd be like, oh no, this is yes, that is cosplay. That is closet cosplay, classic closet cosplay, and it's valid. But it's like, oh, y'all are doing this, and so I felt like at that time, I think that was 2000, either 17 or 18 when that came out. Yeah. That December, I started cosplaying because I wanted to, I felt like the air was right for it. I felt like we were at a place as a country to really build a community, and like I just felt like the Bahamas was ready for it. And it's one of the reasons why I don't call myself the first Bahamian cosplayer, because like you mentioned, Petty Guardian, there are many Bahamians who have been cosplaying abroad for years. Androsia Wild is one of them. She does these amazing burlesque cosplays. Petty Guardian, I'm sure, has probably been in the game for a lot longer than we may even realize. But I was the first to brand myself as a cosplayer and be like, I'm doing this routinely year round outside of Halloween, in like photo shoots, quality stuff, just to show and expose cosplay to the Bahamas. So I very much did it with the intention of being a cosplayer, being a public figure, building a community, and building a brand around myself. That was always the intention.
I feel you with the whole it was something to air because that's what bit me around that same time too. Because
You did your Black Panther.
yeah, like October 2018, like it was like because I was in a environmental space around that time, and I was just was like, perfect, like effort. I can just do something outrageous. Okay, how I cosplay? Then I was like, okay, I want to spend all that money. So how? Okay, I could put this with this with this with this. I know what I'm doing, and I was like, every year for my birthday, I'm gonna find a new costume, and then boom, I'm gonna do photos. So I don't know nothing about do this and brand this. I just doing this for my enjoyment. I want to do something that I enjoy, and then a couple.
It's funny because you did one, I did one, and then I think Kadish did one like literally a month or two after me in his Spider-Man. I was like, okay, I was right. Like I was right there. Like that was the validation I needed. Seeing like 3 people in rapid succession doing cosplay photo shoots, I was like, this is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. But to me, this man in the corner here from COV time, because we had a couple classes together at UB. And for PG, like I always had vivid memories of PG and Emerald those like dressing up and things like that. So that's why it was like, but it was like, they was deemed as, they just a bunch of losers, blah, 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 blah. So that's why for me, when I jump into it,
They're still doing that.
yeah,
People are still doing
that's why I was like, bro, I don't care no more. Like, and it's after me being exposed to it 4 years prior when I went to the Dragon Con parade in 2014. And I was like, but I can do this one time. And it was like putting it off. And it was like, yeah, finally. But what really encouraged me to really get into it is when I guess all of us started coming together and it's like, okay, now you have the support to do it. Well, Greg, talk to us about the support aspect of the community.
Crochet.
Support.
Leaving out all of this.
That's just a testament of how well acquainted we are. That's the thing, yeah.
Carol, please forgive me.
Support in what way?
Well, I would say emotional support to where you feel comfortable in just expressing yourself in this art form.
I will say moving out helped with that. No diss to my parents or whatever, but it's just like nice to, when you have your own space to work on things without people questioning why you're working on that thing. And it's like, maybe I just want to do this because it's fun.
It's not weird, I promise.
It's not weird.
It's
not
not
a phase,
a
Mom.
It's not a phase.
It's not a phase.
It's not a kink.
I will say in terms of particularly this community, after I guess I participated in a few competitions and actually started
Forced to.
after
Coerced.
after Cosmom manipulated people into
Strong word. You got the
Okay.
into participating in her contests. I mean,
Alright.
at some point she didn't have to manipulate.
Yeah. You might as well.
People just wanted to do it. But no, it was like, we already respected her, so it was like, we didn't feel like we were being forced. She was just like reminding us, like, hey, this is here. Like,
It doesn't feel like gaslighting. It's fine.
no,
Are you like the leader?
She is
She appears to be.
she is. And I mean, in terms of support, she is the support. Like, I'm not trying to put her on the spot, but
Okay.
I'm
literally,
an emotional ass gangster.
literally anyone can go to her. Like, I mean, as we built this community, anyone could go to her and like ask anything they needed, and like at this point, it's just come so far where we have this whole like almost resource of knowledge that we all share, and like just like sharing ideas and inspiration and all that is something that I think all of us could never really find with our own family or even like friends. Like,
that's just facts.
In that case, those was the friends, chief.
Yeah, I mean, not like
I
it's
usually
just
really
like
say- I
No,
would
it's
say
like
I
a
wouldn't say that.
lack
It's
of
just like
understanding. So
Yeah,
parents
like-
be like, "Oh, that's cool. That's nice. You're really talented," but they don't know.
yeah, it's
They
like
don't know nothing but the character or the show.
even longtime friends I've had that like share my video game and like nerd interest don't necessarily get the cosplay part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
So it's like nice. Like I have a whole completely different group of friends just
Secret
for cosplay,
society.
which I mean, cosplay is obviously not the only thing we'll bond over, but that's
Yeah.
how it began.
I don't know my phone.
That was a bit ranty, but yeah.
No, but I feel
enjoy
you, and I feel like a lot of times I feel like I'm part of a secret society. That only certain people know. Like, yeah, when we take off these costumes, we see each other in the street. Yeah.
Honestly, that is how it feels, you know, like if you just like meet a new acquaintance or something, right? You're like, I do cosplay too,
And it's like,
I
ooh.
expect that from you. You look really refined.
Yeah.
What do you mean refined? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
You look well adjusted.
What's wrong with that? I didn't realize you were.
Where did that come
It's,
from?
it's interesting you talk about seeing people in the street because one of the things I feel very bad about, like how Sayru said, I'm not good at names or faces. Same.
Same.
It's even worse when you're cosplaying all the time.
Yeah,
And you
because
cosplay so well, but your makeup and wig and outfit just makes you look like a completely different
Or
person.
if you're
It's just
wearing
like,
masks.
I have
yeah.
a
Honestly-
very embarrassing story about that.
oh gee.
Tell it.
Go ahead.
No, I waiting for.
No, I was just gonna say, like, with Sayru, for example, I was such a fan of hers, and it took me a few meetings to realize, oh wait,
you.
that was
It's
you.
I love your work. You're great.
Yes.
Probably was using such a name when you was coming.
Like, I'm like, I don't know who this person is, but they did a great job. Like, but glad to know your face now.
Uh,
on a first name
name.
basis.
Yes.
So I can start this question with
I want to hear
Siri.
Shimano.
Siri,
I want to
yo.
hear Ask Chase Sillies.
Oh, go ahead.
Don't worry, I won't forget.
All right. Well, so how do you start to conceptualize what and who you're gonna cosplay?
I tend to go back to my childhood. Granted, my memory is not always that great, but what I do is I look up things. I'll research like 90s cartoons, 80s cartoons.
My favorite
Um,
eras.
Go through the list. I'll look at it. I remember this one. Then I'll look at the character list. And it's like, oh, that looks cool. I want to do that. Sometimes it's also a time crunch because procrastination. So I try to narrow down what would be the easiest thing for me to make because clearly I take time into consideration to order nothing. So what can I make right then and there? So it's a combination of all those things. Now, recently, with the competitions that's been international dailies competitions and whatnot, I've been starting to at least pick out characters to look at for future reference. To say, okay, I'm going to do that. So I have like a spreadsheet, and now I have a book. It's getting out of hand.
No, that's all right.
But yeah,
I got a
I
list.
go back to my childhood. I look at these characters. Sometimes it's an anime that's somewhat recent, so this would be a fairly recent anime. I haven't watched anime in a long time, so if anything before this, I don't know it. Sorry. That's where I start with, and I also consider my skill level, and again the time crunch.
Shannon?
Same question.
Ask Chase Sillies.
I go with who I'm obsessed with. Like I prefer to embody or cosplay characters that I really like either love or feel like I relate to in a way that I could embody them. Because otherwise I'm not gonna do it. But I'm a very all or nothing person, so I usually pick characters that like I either really love or heavily relate to, or, and this happens when you like start to collaborate with other people, if it's to fit into a group, I will take suggestions or things like that. I don't usually like to because people have a tendency to pick the character that I just like don't like at all for me to cosplay, but it's whatever. Sometimes you do that to fit into a cosplay group or collaborate with others to accommodate them. So it is what it is. But just to briefly go back to the embarrassing story. So we were all at BlurredCon recently. Well, not Sarah, we missed you. But not Gabe either. I apologize. Not PG either. I apologize. So really, it was just Jussie, Carib, and I. And I met BVI Mermaid in casual clothing in the elevator. And it was cool. It was nice. And I had been on a podcast or not a podcast, but like a YouTube stream. And like, so we were somewhat friendly with one another. And then the very next day, she was in this gorgeous elven costume with white hair, beautiful green makeup, and I was just so stunned as I watched her walk by, and I was like, oh my god, can I get a picture of you, as is courteous at cons? And literally I was like, oh, where's your accent from? She's like, you literally met me yesterday. I was like, oh my god, it's you. But she looked enough, like, for one, she is very tall naturally, but I guess she was wearing even more heel because she was like extremely tall. And just like the presence and everything was just very, I don't know, she was in her element, and I was just like, I'm so sorry. It's not you, it's me.
And I can understand that happening because that happened to me with several of my online friends. You chatting up with them online. They see you, like, I think, who this happened with? I think this happened with Houseman. I think I was Mosh, went to his panel, shake his hand. I was like, and I think I joked one time. I was like, bro, who's Mosh? Da 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 da. And he was like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, bro, that's me. So like, you know, that's totally understandable, especially when you get to a point where you embody a character so much, you take on their own.
First time off of camera, it's very different. We ain't gonna go into catfishing and all of that because that's
no.
I'm down. I'm down.
Oh, but so since we were already talking about cons this year, I'm glad that Carib is here. She was, well, not with me on this great day in May, but she was in the vicinity somewhere. And I was like, the feeling that I got from going to my first international con as a cosplayer and just feeling like a child again. Like, that's the main thing. Because it was like, I haven't felt this way since I was like 4 or 5, to where everything is an adventure, to where I got to apologize to my coalition friends. I know I was missing, but I was... Oh, you was missing?
I was missing. Like, I was missing from y'all. I was missing from the coalition. I was missing from everybody at one point. Like, that's just how cons are. No, I went. I was there. What? That's just how cons go, especially when you're going in a big group. Like, you and you're trying to collaborate with as many people as possible, you will get pulled in a bunch of different directions.
And BlurCon were very different. MomoCon, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I didn't think after BlurCon I would be that much more excited for a con. Like, I thought my first con would have been like the con, which is, it's good to think that way because it's like you're aiming to have fun, but like MomoCon was just a completely different experience. Like, you could just be, I mean, you could literally go into any room and there's something for you to do. Like, just off the top of my head, there was a manga library. There was the exhibitors hall was like the size of Marathon Mall, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was that big, or it felt that big. Like that, like
no,
there
that's
were
pretty
so
accurate.
many people there. It was overwhelming in a way. Expect to walk at big cons.
Mm-hmm.
and expect to spend money because you will see things that will make you forget how much your budget is.
Can I buy things from the library?
No, I think the library is mainly like donated books they have.
So you can't steal it.
I mean, the library is there if you just want to sit in a quiet place at the con and read manga. But the exhibitors hall, I mean, there are manga exhibitors and vendors, so it's like.
Alright.
And when I say like, especially at Momo, they have like big brands like Viz was there, and they just have like walls of manga and Funko Pops. Like, it's wild. To the point where on the busiest day they have to like basically direct passenger traffic to prevent traffic jams.
Yep.
So, I really enjoyed MomoCon last year. It's the biggest con I've ever been to. Probably for now the biggest con I will be going to, because other cons kind of scare me now, like Anime Expo.
Why do they scare you?
Anime Expo seemed to be oversold.
Seen videos of Anime Expo?
Oh,
For the venue, for the venue, it was very much oversold. Like, people were calling it Line Con because the line to get in was like 5 hours just to get into the place where the con was. So it's like, at that point, you're not enjoying the con. But Momo was not like that at all. Even like people who had to get their tickets that first morning, like they just like walked straight through. Like, it was, they were on it. Like, they were very well prepared.
Would being there early deter any of that 5-hour waiting line?
No.
No.
You forget this is the place where people camp outside from like the day before.
Why am I
Like, this
about
is
something like that?
the country.
Yeah.
Like, that is a thing in that country.
Mm-hmm.
So
I always wanted to do that, mainly for a video game, because I feel it sounds fun. So let's have a nice little tent, man.
I think it sounds fun,
you
but
clearly have to
Yeah.
find it fun.
It depends. If you come prepared, I think it's fun. If you don't come
you'd
prepared,
have to like pee in plastic baths.
Huh?
Company. Not by yourself.
Not even a
Especially
company.
not in the States.
I recommend you come with a squadron. You all get in the same game. I recommend you all come equipped with weaponry of each and every kind, food, snack rations, just so you don't gotta leave. Make sure your car is parked somewhere you can see it. And,
Yes.
yeah. I want to do that for like any game that releases right now. That'd be
Just
cool.
once in your life.
Yeah.
Just
How much?
at least once.
How much would you have to save up to attend a con?
It varies.
Good question, though.
It varies.
Give me a little
Oh, local is the geek out.
Technicality. Technical lowball.
Okay, give me a mid-ball.
Let me tell you how much I spent at MomoCon.
Okay.
Well, okay, I don't know, because I feel like sometimes compared to other Bahamians, my budget is below. Because I heard.
Mine's low. I feel like it's saving money.
Okay, like, because Flair at BlurCon was talking about having $1,000. I'm like, what are you spending $1,000 on at BlurCon?
Just in case you never know.
I'm like, MomoCon, I spent like $600. Just on
That's not that bad. That's not that bad.
Their gallery is so cute.
Well, that was like all
See,
my budget.
and keep in mind, like, that's how much you spend at the con, not necessarily
Yeah.
to attend it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like,
that was probably, I don't even want to say, I mean, some of that was food, but it wasn't at the con food.
yeah.
Are you talking about like just food and transportation all in collective?
No, because I walked.
No, I'm talking about that's all the expensive, not really saying you purchase things.
Most of those, the $600 was what I purchased at the con.
Well,
Like, I purchased, like flyers, art, like souvenirs,
Funko Pops?
gifts for people. No.
I
I
did. I
did, like, get, like, signatures and stuff from people too. Bought, like, people's merch and stuff.
when
So.
you get a signature from them, do you keep it or do you sell it on eBay?
Oh.
Some people go to those cons just to get those to put it on eBay, by the way.
I feel like I wouldn't do that just because ain't nobody got time for that.
But to answer your question,
Mid-ball.
mid-ball would be around, well, even that varies. Like, okay, so like the cheapest con I've ever gone to has been the Geek Out. Mid is anywhere from, in terms of price, not necessarily experience, is anywhere from 40 to about 70
That's the con ticket.
And that's
dollars
mid, you
for
said.
the con ticket.
Yeah.
Yes. The most
What
expensive
do you mean for
con.
the con ticket? Is it there's some
Some
kind of
pass.
extra?
Well, you have to. No. I'm not talking about. I'm saying like that is the entry. But I'm saying the con ticket as opposed to the plane ticket that you have to
Yeah, the
purchase to go there.
hotel, any travel. you
Because
have to
that's the
do.
thing that a lot of
Yeah.
people in the States wouldn't take into
So
account for
cons itself
us.
Exactly.
aren't that
For
expensive.
Bahamians, cons are very expensive because we have to
exactly.
fly there.
Yeah.
Unless you're a guest,
The
then
con ticket itself is
hopefully
really
that
not
should be
that expensive.
exactly.
But
High wall.
overall,
Hi, well, the most expensive con I went to was Dragon Con, which was about 100.
25.
Yeah. Yes.
I got
It's
five
a
days.
5-day ticket.
yeah.
And let me tell you something.
And that is the
the hotel.
entry level one, right?
Yeah.
That's not even like
That's not VIP.
ticket.
Yeah, sorry.
There's VIP.
There's
What
VIP.
privileges are you granted for buying this VIP ticket?
It varies again, and like a lot of people will ask you like, okay, well, is VIP for this particular con worth it? And that depends on you, and that's a whole other topic because like I love that we're talking about cons because all cons are different. They're gonna give you different experiences. They're for different types of fans and geeks.
Different type of things. Some cons are like influencer cons, some is educational, some might be certain type of fandoms. You have anime cons.
I feel like
You know.
social media has really made like FOMO such a huge thing with cons where people feel like they have to go to each and every one, but you're not going to get the same experience at each and every one. So which cons you go to, I mean, don't let me stop you from going to any con that you want to try, but at the same time, like, know why you're going and what these cons are for so that you don't put yourself in a position where you just spend a bunch of money. Because for us, it will be a bunch of money to have a disappointing or mid-con experience. But yeah.
That's why I feel really when it comes to sort of understanding and deciding which con to go to, I always base it off of, okay, what's the biggest reach for my brand? Who all I know going there? What other things I can do in that city at that time? Because I'm like, we spending plenty of money. And I want to go back to Carol's point to where the difference between, well, what I felt with the difference between BlurredCon and MomoCon was, okay, MomoCon was so vast. And I don't mind the vastness because I'm like, I want to explore. Okay, if we go in the vendor's hall, I get a myriad of things that I can pick from and choose from. But it was like, okay, and then I can network with all kind of different people. There's all kind of different things going on. And I feel like accomplished after the trip because I felt like I just spend money and this money gone in vain and I didn't maximize everything. And I still felt like at Momo I could have did a little bit more things, but I still enjoyed myself. Whereas BlurredCon, it was like, it was cool, you know, like meeting up with a bunch of friends.
I told y'all this from before
I know,
we
I
went.
know. That's
I
why.
told y'all this from the jump.
Yeah.
My thing with you can't compare a con like MomoCon to BlurredCon, and the thing is, like, I say that as someone who loves BlurredCon for the experience. I feel like every Black cosplayer should go to BlurredCon at least once, preferably with a group of friends that you're comfortable with and know, because it is basically like a cookout.
Yeah.
As a con.
Yeah, that's
and
what-
like you will probably meet up with 90% of your mutuals. 90% of my mutuals happen to be Black cosplayers, so that's why I like BlurredCon even as a white person.
But I enjoyed that because I had a good time, but then it was like, I had the factor.
There's not gonna be as much to do if you're the type that likes to like explore and like see everything happening at once. Not to say that there isn't anything to do at BlurredCon. I'm not trying to diss BlurredCon. I love BlurredCon, but But Momo, there's probably a lot going on simultaneously, and that's how Rhode Island Comic Con was for me. That was my first con. So to hear y'all like talk about the similar experience that y'all had at Momo to Rhode Island is like, I remember that. I remember that feeling of being like, oh my God, this is doing this for the first time, feeling like a kid getting to explore everything and seeing so many things happening at once. Like, you just embrace your inner child. But you can't compare cons to each other.
Yeah, I would never compare them, but I would just say on that point, it made me say, okay, what is the reason I'm traveling to cons? Yes. So I was like, all right, well, this time go around, I'm like, okay, gotta go back to Momo. You know, because I already had the mindset to Blurred. From weeks ago, I was like, bro, I going to party, bro. And that's what we did.
Party con, Dragon Con is a party con as well. So it just depends on why you want to go and what your goals are.
Is there any kind of like, I don't even probably remember this, some kind of pamphlet, some directory that tells me which cons is for what, or you have to go and know?
Here's the thing. There is actually a directory for all of the cons in at least America.
And their main purpose. Or what they're
a lot of them will have their purpose in the name. So like a lot of people think like, oh, I want to go to Comic-Con. Okay, which Comic-Con do you want to go to? Because there are many. Like there's New York Comic-Con, there's San Diego Comic-Con, and those are two completely different experiences. There's Rhode Island Comic-Con, and of course, there will be like, there's also Fan Expo in Toronto, which I was supposed to go to, but then the pandemic happened.
Anime North.
Yeah, Anime North. A lot of them will have it like in the title of, okay, this is predominantly a comic related convention, but you will still have like anime cosplayers going there, and you still have like one or two little things from other fandoms there. But there are also like Holiday Matsuri is predominantly an anime convention. Blurred
sci-fi cons too.
Yes.
Specifically.
ICCC is a science fiction con. Blurred Con is mostly black culture. So that can relate to anime, movies. There's also Cabbage Con, which is predominantly a Avatar the Last Avatar.
But then I was like, you know what? Y'all got it.
Then you have Ranger Star too, which is for like Super Sentai and Kamen Rider like thing. So it's like
I just want more better name descriptions. When you say Cabbage, I know exactly what you're gonna say. It's a cartoon for vegans. It's like, oh, that's for Avatar, and I'm like, I'm gonna see myself out.
Farmers market is.
My cheese. What? Okay, give me just name two one that I haven't heard. I got MomoCon, BlurredCon, DreamCon.
Alias Entertainment Expo in Trinidad.
there's also conventions on the Caribbean islands as well.
Yes.
And how can I get in contact with those? Like, how do I know when?
That leads into my next question.
Okay, go ahead.
So, since we came together as a cosplay community, we discovered through the help of SJ the Caribbean Cosplay Championships. Yeah, high five.
Yeah, we missed the whole.
No, I was like when
You've been doing so well with God, like.
yeah. So
Still put a corner there.
yeah. So when I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, we made it. Because I'm gonna get to another question after this. But I was like, yo, and there's so much different emotions that I have towards finding out that there's a Caribbean Cosplay Championship. One is that we got to a level as a community locally here in the Bahamas that we could participate and do extremely well at it. But two, in typical Bahamian fashion, we behind the eight ball. Because when you look at the other communities, they've been living and thriving for quite some time now. And it's like, that's another thing, again, we behind, like, you know? So, how?
I don't feel we're fully I don't feel fully as behind as you think we
No,
are.
we're not behind. I'm saying
Because we got champions.
Of
People
course.
been going there for years.
Yeah.
These ninjas just pulled up.
That's what I'm saying.
So we ain't behind.
we ain't behind. We just
ain't
did it.
behind Jack.
But it's just like I'm glad we really took initiative to build what we have done so far, and like not waited any longer. Like we seize in the moment now.
That much is true.
And so for y'all, for Sirio and SJ, tell us about going to Trinidad, and then Carav and Sirio, tell us about you putting all this hard work just for them to lift you up on the stage and say you win. Jesus Christ. Tell us about that.
Story about Saria winning.
All right, let's go. Well, whatever we'll start about that Caribbean Cosplay Championship.
I guess I could start at least from how we got there. Because I also had like a lot of like emotions about it. Because Pantarona Cosplay is the biggest name in cosplay in the Caribbean, and I had been following her journey since before I started cosplaying. Wow. So to have her DM me one day and like, hey, we're putting together, well, they've actually had the Caribbean Cosplay Championships for about 10 years now, but because of the pandemic, they weren't doing it for the last year or two, I think. So that was in 2022 or 2021 leading into 2022. She's like, well, we're putting it together for next year. Do you think the Bahamas would be interested in participating? I was like, this is wild. I'm actually like the founder of 242 Cosplayer Nation, and yeah, we have a few people who could compete on that level. She's like, okay, well, how many do you think could compete? And I was like, building, like construction wise, we have about, I want to say at least 10 really good craftsmanship people. She's like, okay. And I was like, panicking because I just spoke to Pantarona Cosplay and she knows who I am, and she's reaching out to me of all people. And that was wild. The fact that I know her and I've met her now, and like, anyway, I'm an emotional ass gangster. Anyway,
I noticed me.
yeah, right? That's exactly what it was. It's like, oh my god, my senpai noticed me. So from there, because the lockdowns were still kind of happening, and they didn't want to really they couldn't do a full-scale event, they decided to do it online. So I think they had missed 2 years of the competition at this point, so they were just starting up again, and we competed. That was the first time the Bahamas competed in the Caribbean Cosplay Championship, and our friend Carib Crochet
Win the whole thing!
Talking about behind. You know what it is, just to pull up and win.
Carib Crochet won third place in craftsmanship. Bunpachi also won for the thirst trap in the TikTok portion, because there are different portions. So there's a craftsmanship portion, there is a photography portion, there's a TikTok portion that is sectioned into 3 other things. I think it was comedy, transformation, and thirst trap. And there's now a performance category, but I don't think anyone entered this year. Yeah.
Performance, like
So,
like a skit.
yeah, like a skit, or going up on stage and performing, like,
Like if
Yeah.
that's the character.
yes.
That would have been an easy win, but if nobody entered, be like, I'd be the only entry. I win.
no,
If we used to,
yeah.
the hero doesn't.
I didn't even know that.
Is this
was,
like, would it have been like what I've seen at other cons where they go on stage and there's like something like a clip from the show or whatever it is that they're cosplaying as playing in the background and they're doing the whole performance?
Yes.
Is that what it might have been?
I think it varies.
Because they have comedy as a skit by itself.
I think it varies. To be honest with you, aside from us, because we have, our competition has a best in play that allows people to kind of act as the character to a degree. I've never seen them really do a entire performance or skits on a cosplay competition before. That's just my limited I've only been to about 7 conventions, and I haven't gone to every cosplay competition, so that's my limited knowledge. I've seen cosplay masquerades, which is basically our best in play, where they walk on stage, they do a few poses as the character, and then they walk off stage.
I've seen one recently from this YouTuber I just started watching. She went to, I believe, Sweden. And she had to do like a whole song performance.
They have to do
that's
that.
what I'm
Well,
wondering.
no, song performances is they usually have. So they have this one at a KaiCon that I really love. That's the lip sync competition, and you do it in cosplay. You can do it to like a song that your character. I do too, but it's gonna be hard.
Have you ever seen the Dragon?
I want to do it.
Competition.
No, I didn't
Because
go.
I think there's a performance in that part.
And I was gonna say the Cosplay World Summit that you mentioned earlier. They require you to do like your entry has to be a performance on stage.
It's like 2 participants, right?
It's basically like the Cosplay World Olympics.
Like you have to mix your own music in.
Yeah.
It's deep.
I just like chocolate
Deep.
box.
You have to like the restrictions are a lot.
Restrictioning.
So how did it feel, Sergio, when you brought the trophy back home for a 2nd year in a row?
I was actually pretty shocked. She was not shocked.
I was
but
not
I was
shocked. I was not.
I was like, wait, what? Me? 'Cause here's the thing. I do cosplay because I enjoy it, and my favorite part of doing cosplay is the making part. The second favorite part is being in the space with people who look at me like, oh, that's cool, and it ain't like a weird kind of, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So when I entered competition, the first time I entered for Geek Out, Basil had to harass me. He's like, you gotta do the thing. I was like, you know what, fine. So I didn't go into it thinking, oh, I'm gonna go win this. That has never been my intention. That's not what I get out of cosplay. So when they called me, I was like, what? Me? And I was like, do you want to say anything? I was like, no.
That was my funny story. So they announced Sari's name, and she walks up, and Panther is like, everyone's cheering on. And Panther was like, do you have anything to say? She's like, no. The most like emotional voice. It was so
Most people,
cute.
if they go into a competition, they like prepare like something to say. And I'm like,
Well,
what?
To be honest with you, though, I'm glad you mentioned what you did, because like a lot of people, most people who do competitions don't enter them with the mindset that they're going to win. That's actually very toxic, because most of the time somebody's always better. You never know what somebody else is going to bring, and it's more healthy and productive and rewarding just to go into the competition just to see and to network and to meet other people who make things.
And for me, 2 years in a row, Yaya handed the commentary from my cousin, and I was like,
Yeah.
I win regardless.
We win regardless.
so
But it's funny to me. She's surprised that she won, but like, I don't know. In my eyes, I was surprised I won because it wasn't like, and I know like when we say they don't like no cosplay is screen accurate, like, but in terms of my Peach cosplay, like the dress, the skirt specifically looked completely different from the original, which is kind of why I was at least somewhat surprised that I won. This girl pulled the outfit straight from the game.
Yep.
Yeah, drag.
Straight from
That was-
straight
I
out
didn't
of
even
the
do the
game.
normal version. The normal version isn't.
She did the
real.
customized version. Like in the game, you can customize your Link's outfits to any color, and she did the green version, and I'm just like,
Listen, the first time, so
you know what you did?
like, I think we were all a little like shocked because this was our first time competing in the Curving Cosplay Championship the first year, 2022. So like, I really didn't want to hope. I was like, let's just go. Let's just see what happens. And then Bunpachi won, and I was like, oh my God. And then Karen won, and I was like, oh my God. And it's not like, I think we were all a little shocked just because like
This was our first time.
and we saw the other entries and we weren't sure
Once you start
really
seeing other people's
Because
entries,
the
like,
story was in.
yeah
It
like
started sweating a little bit.
but like it really opened my eyes to what like craftsmanship really is and what the criteria of things really is, and to not judge something just by how it looks or how it seems like it looks on camera. But Crochet did an immense amount of work into her Peach cosplay, and seeing it in pictures and seeing it in person are two different things for one. Like it's gorgeous and you absolutely deserve that.
Yes.
But Sari, the first time I saw you in the Link cosplay, I was like, you're gonna place. I didn't know where you were gonna place, but I knew you were gonna place somewhere because I'm like, there's just no way. There's no way because it's so detailed and gorgeous and clean. And I was just like, oh God. I keep this to myself right now because I don't know. I don't have any insider information or anything like that. It's just a feeling of like, because I've run so many competitions now and I know what people look for. I was like, I just feel like you will place. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut though because I didn't want to get anybody's hopes up because again, you never know what somebody's gonna bring to the competition. And there were a lot of amazing entries this year too, like Venezuela. Venezuela did not come to play with us. Did not come to play.
with no voice.
No.
He's like, Viva Venezuela.
Yeah, he was funny. He was funny.
So I want to talk about another phenomenon. So, did you ever? This is a question to the whole room. Did you ever think that we would be this big internationally?
I hoped. That was the hope. That was the hope that sparked like everything. Is just like I want to put us on the map. I wanna be part of the reason why we're known for cosplay. And then like again that domino feeling of like, oh my God, Pantarona Cosplay is messaging me to put the Bahamas in the Caribbean Cosplay Championship. We're gonna compete with other Caribbean nations and grow a bigger cosplay CARICOM, and then oh my God, Bunpachi wins, Carib wins, Sari wins, Pastel won, and it's just like
Because I remember.
like I didn't want to hope for that the first year because I just wanted to see what would happen. We're like I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like being at the forefront of it, it's like you realize like, wow, we're really behind. There are people like they've been doing this for decades now, and we're just starting. But also,
Not really decades because of the COVID years. So,
no, still decades. No,
They've been going for a while.
If you want to do that, it would be 10 plus 2.
Yeah.
No.
why not?
That's why I
Because they
say.
started, that they've been doing it for a decade, and the pandemic stopped them for 2 years.
Yeah.
But like, it was extremely validating and rewarding to not just be able to compete that first year, but have 2 wins and then go and get 3 wins the next time. Like, I'm a crack. Yeah. So I didn't know what we would be, but I'm very proud and honored and excited to see that we're being recognized regionally. Like
No, yeah, but it
that's
claps off to the numbers we
that
even
is
put up
amazing.
too, baby, because we come up with numbers too, right?
But not just
in
regionally,
general.
internationally too. I remember I had a.
More numbers than a couple other.
But I ain't even just talking about just the championships. I remember having a I was talking to Bunny at Bird, and she's like, "This person," it's like, you know how big you is, not because we live on a small island. We think we so close. Like when you step out there, people recognize you. You have, I think Bunny have 100,000 followers on TikTok or more.
She's a little under that. She's trying to get to 100,000.
So I'm like, you have all these numbers. Where you think these numbers come from? Like they know you.
If you grab 100 of those and put them in a row in front of us, she'd be like, "That's a lot of people."
Yeah.
She has more than 100.
Yeah. So it's like when you have to sort of think of yourself as not how you're perceived in your native environment, but how you perceived by the world. Because even there's moments I remember, like people, like when you even meet mutuals, you don't think they recognize you. I remember when I first met Julius. Like we at the party, it's like, bro, what's good? He hugged me. I'm like, bro, I didn't even know you. Like, hey, what's good, man? This, that. And now we just exchange messages or things like that. Or you have friends like, yo, come to this con. Or when they meet you first time, oh my goodness, you from the Bahamas? You this, that, and it's like, I'm not used to all this attention. Like,
That I was gonna say, like, that was really. I've had mutuals recognize me at cons before, and like there was a moment at Blurred Con this year where Sailor Ecstasy, who I've also been following for a very long time, was like she made a special point to come talk to me and tell me that she's like she's proud of the work that I'm doing and happy with the work that I'm doing, and that meant so much to me personally because I don't know, it hits different hearing from other people that like they see you and they see what you're doing. I was also shocked in Trinidad when the same guy that lost his voice from Venezuela, well, he lives in Trinidad, but he's Venezuelan, and he was both shouting for the Venezuelans and for us.
He was right next to me.
The first time we saw him, the first day at the parade, while we were waiting to go on the streets, he's like, I'm a huge fan. I was like, what? I was like, are you sure you're not confusing me with Carib Crochet, the person that won? He's like, no, you. It's like, oh, okay. And I sat with that for a while, and then like several times after that, like they may not have recognized me personally, but as soon as I pulled up my name to like follow them back, they're like, oh my god, you're SJ, and I'm like, yeah, so why? And that was it's a very weird feeling because like on one hand, yeah, but like I'm used to going through it with mutuals because there's like, oh, we've known each other for a long time, we talk. It's weird to meet people who like I don't know
She has fans now.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's not bad. It's just like I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
In the same sense, one of the main reasons I like MomoCon is because there's so many people, even if people don't know you as you,
Yeah.
you could cosplay the most niche character, and there will be
At least one person.
so I'm excited.
For example, my sister and I did 2 characters from a very niche manga that's getting an anime in January. It's called Dungeon Meshi. You should go read it. 6 people recognized us.
And to be honest with you,
That was validating as hell.
that's
Like,
how I've gained mutuals, and that's how I've become fans of other people. I'm like, your dress is my favorite character. I must follow you and see everything you do now.
It's
just
like,
because your
wait.
dress is a particular character.
You also read that niche as hell thing? You do. Like, you could just bond over that. And it's so, like, you will remember people just for that.
Yeah, and then you have to sit with the fact that your face somewhere in the universe and you don't even know who took your picture.
Listen. And you'll never see
The person again. Yeah.
Try searching like some tags.
Yeah,
Hashtags.
usually like the bigger ones.
Yeah.
No. Alias, I feel like you should be able to find if you, at least sizable wise, you should be able to find.
Even right here.
No, you're right.
Nobody, either they don't use the hashtags
Or they don't post it.
Yeah.
The bigger, even at MomoCon, sometimes when I was giving people my card, like to tag me in case they posted, they'd be like, "Oh, I wasn't planning on posting it anywhere."
I haven't posted any of it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there,
So
staring
you
at me,
just-
judging me.
Yeah, image somewhere in the universe on somebody's phone. And I just like, how are you getting this point in my life where this is even happening? Like, even when I remember I met Nakia Burris, the Turbo Yellow Power Ranger at MomoCon. First I was finding out. I was like, but you gotta relax before you approach them. So then I roll up, because I was in Cyclops. So I roll up like, hey, how you doing? How much everything is? You know, try to play the point. So she's like, oh my goodness, are you comfortable? And I was like, you talking to me? Like, yeah, you know, it's a little cool. It's
I have
like,
like an anecdote about going to Momo and meeting Jack Ducena, who's the voice of Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
yeah.
I was wearing this exact same cosplay, except like I had these
The contacts.
the contacts and that basically made me blind. I was also fangirling but playing it cool.
Yeah.
And then when I walked away, I was like, why did I not show him my avatar tattoo?
Yeah.
My avatar tattoo, which is exposed, and I could have easily been like, hey.
It'd be like just like a crease. Some of my friends was
And
like,
then,
yeah.
ironically, the next day, when I went to the Avatar cast panel, they were talking about cast members who got tattoos, and I was like,
Could have been you.
it could have been me. And also, Greg Baldwin is apparently the only cast member that has an Avatar tattoo, so he's the only committed one. That's what I remember from that panel.
Because you tried, you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. You trying to keep it coy.
No, but I mean, like, I only really had two people I really wanted to meet. And I met, the voice of Korra for Ringo.
Yes.
She wanted her to sign the...
You're a very good friend.
Yeah, because you know, I know you had to wait that long line. Well, which day you went? It was the...
It was... I kind of went twice. I went like late Thursday, but she had to reschedule, and then I went Friday morning, and I thought I was late, but she wasn't even there by the time I got there. So.
Okay.
So it was fine, but
Man.
yeah, it was a very pleasant experience. Like, he was very nice. I was just like, it's like you, like, when you actually meet them, you just draw a blank. And
Yeah,
it's just like,
that was me with Misha Collins.
I can't remember what I was going to say or do.
I think when I got my signature at Alias, I was in Link cosplay, right? So, Sean?
Yeah. No, wait. Did we go after? Yeah, Sean. His name is Sean. I'm trying to think. Did we go after you changed? No, because remember you were something and then you changed into the link.
Oh, that was
I
the
don't
day.
think. Yeah, I don't think you were in link.
But even then, he did the voice for Rivali in the game.
Yes.
And he's like, "What do you know me from?" It's like,
He actually was,
yeah, because he does a lot of voices.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I was wearing? I think I was wearing Killer T.
Yes.
I was wearing Killer
That's
T.
what it
He
was.
recognized, right? He recognized that cosplay.
That's another funny
When he
story.
asked, where did I know him from? I was like, I knew you from Breath of the Wild. I didn't remember to tell him, hey, I'm cosplaying this link from this very specific area that the costume comes from that you did your voice character for.
Like,
Funny enough,
Brain no function.
during the parade, people thought Serio was my my security guard when she was dressed as Killer T. I was like, no, she's Killer. She's
Y'all
Killer.
should
She's
have rolled it.
Killer
You'd be like,
T-cycle.
yeah. So, before we wrap up, one of the last questions before we talk about like future plans. How do y'all deal with con depression?
I cry. I like.
Honest.
No. And see, it always hits different for me because, like, I have been going to cons very recently, more predominantly to spend time with the Chameleon Coalition, who are my very close friends, and also my partner is a part of the Chameleon Coalition. So, like, especially the last few times that I've gone to a con, leaving has hit very different. I would say accept that there is going to be a drop, a very immediate drop, and just be gentle with yourself.
I have to agree, like, when I mean, I've been raving about Momo this whole time, but
I ain't blame
literally,
I ain't
like,
blame you. I cried tears on that train.
like, listen, I don't know what it was, but it was like the morning I was leaving, which was like the day after. And it was also like a sister trip. Like, my sister was in school and she was in Atlanta. Which was like half of the reason I went. It was like, we just got in the elevator to leave her apartment building. I was like, damn, like, I don't want to leave. And she's just like, oh, and I was like, I think I'm going to cry. And then I just started crying, and I was like crying on the whole, like,
Listen,
ride back to the airport. It was like,
last year
was surreal.
was the first time, like, the majority of the coalition got together, and the first time that I met Jay, who was my partner. And as soon as that trip was over and I was in the airport, my gate, I cried like a bitch. So
No, you cried like an emotional
ass gangster.
Nobody understand it. Like, I remember, I always have these late night going. Me and Sam was having. I was like, bro, I understand what causes con depression. It's
Yeah, you explained it in the chat once, and I was like, yeah, that's it.
yeah, because it's literally like it hit me. Like I had this epiphany moment. Like I remember it was MomoCon Sunday. I did the Yu Yu Hakusho panel earlier, and then I had Lock for the first time. That was amazing. Like, they showed me at a sword fight and me going to the ends, and I'm like, so as I'm leaving, I'm like, bro, like yesterday you was just in the field with almost 500 Spider-Man. This stuff that you as a child used to envision, that you just thought this would never happen, and it did. And like it all started settling in, and then you think about all the fun loving you had, and it's like, it goes back to those moments of feeling like a child and you being felt so neglected for such a long time. It's like, yeah, I wasn't ready to grow up almost. But, now I gotta go back to reality, and reality sort of
I've had that
sucks.
feeling. Not con related, but traveling. I've had that feeling. Like,
Yeah.
I've cried getting in the van to go to the airport. It's like, I don't want to go.
Hey, especially if you gotta come back here to Nassau all the way. You literally just feel like a burden coming off your shoulders when you leave it, and then when you coming back, it's be like,
When you come back and you smell that acid.
pollution. When that Nassau evil hits you, it's like,
I wouldn't necessarily say Nassau evil, but it's like, because what you get to do when you join, meet people from everywhere, bro, everybody having a hard time, bro.
It's like, going to a con, there's very little judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just don't be an asshole to people.
And don't be weird.
And don't be weird.
Like, be weird, but like,
Be friendly weird.
Stop.
Yeah.
The weirdness.
Yeah, it's just nice being around people who like the same stuff that you like. Like, even just attending panels, like, random strangers be talking to me about things we just like, and we could just relate, and we never see each other again.
Or
And it's wild.
social media.
Yeah. Well, true.
Even that, I don't really talk to people. Like, you don't see me in the group. Like,
No,
y'all have to tag me or something on me, because I'm like, sometimes I'll read it. Like, for the last 3 weeks or so, everybody was very chatting, like, this is a lot.
Yeah, like, see, and it also depends on what type of person you are. Like, personally for me, I'm not the type of person where, like, I feel like there are people out there that, like, judge or gauge friendship by, like, how often you talk, and it's like, that's never gonna be me.
I hate going on the phone. Like, I hate, like,
I'll follow you, I'll like your stuff.
Yeah, but I won't necessarily, like, I make a habit to try to comment on as many things as possible, because I
and
know
I really appreciate
as a
it. You've been a
brand,
great supporter. All everything you've been doing for the last 5 years.
As a brand,
I'm trying to build a brand. Like, I understand, like, those mean something, but sometimes it is be hard to think of what to say. So, like, I understand just liking, but, like, any little bit of engagement helps creators. So,
And it's free.
and it's free.
It's free.
It's free.
So what is the movement forward?
I have one more question.
Okay.
When you're like returning back home, did you ever like have a thought saying, no, I don't gotta go back home? When you started life, I find a job.
Yeah.
And
All the time.
I constantly tell Jay Stowe the Tiger, my partner, I'm like, we could just not go back. And he's like, no, we got on. I'm like, we could just not though.
I can just live
We
with
could
you,
just
get
not.
a job over here.
We could
Live
just
life.
not.
Change my name, get a
I've gone as
passport.
far as, like, let me look at this school. How much this could cost me to go to school here?
right now.
That's basically what my sister did. Like, we visited my dad's brother because he lives in Georgia, and she was like, I kind of like this area. Like, We applied to Georgia Tech, and she didn't even tell us
Wow.
because she didn't think she would get in.
Powerful.
There was Georgia
But she's a
Tech.
smarty pants, yeah.
It's tough to get
She's-
inside there.
You know, she was a better student than me. So, and she did very well, and she was like very sad to leave because like a lot of her Discord friends she was able to meet over there because a lot of them live around Atlanta and stuff. So,
Yeah, I miss that city every so often. I like how you said in the group chat one time, I love peaches. I must say, I love peaches. I love MomoCon. I love I saving that for later. I love the peaches.
but that one was perfect for Atlanta because it's like
No, because
Georgia,
I
peaches,
love-
MomoCon.
No, and I love all the peaches in Atlanta too.
Literally.
Like,
Yeah.
What I find
I don't
funny
know
is
if you're talking about the fruit, but you keep going. You keep doing what you're doing.
there was the parade where that happened, and then there was the lip sync competition where that happened, and then while we were at the lip sync competition, y'all were doing your own version of Peaches. So like in 3 multiverses, we heard this song.
So what's the next steps? What we got planned for the future, collectively and individually?
More victories, I assume.
More victories.
W's over here.
Well, don't hold me to it, but I want to participate in the MomoCon competition.
She said it. There's no backing out.
I already have a costume in mind, and I already did a few sketches. I just have to get the motivation to actually start and finish.
Time.
Yes, time,
Lack of time.
materials, money.
Oh, yeah.
We can come back to this interview and be like, oh, you won.
Boy, let's pray.
Say what you.
Me, next year, I am considering which con I want to go to, if I go to any at all. I still haven't decided. I need to decide soon because tickets are ticketing. I do have 2 big cosplays that I want to do. One is obviously going to be for Alias, regardless if I go in person or not. And then one is going to be for Black Lady. So those are my 2 goals. I've already ordered fabric swatches for them, waiting for them to arrive. I'm starting early. That don't mean I'm going to start sewing early. I'm starting planning early.
It's a step.
The book is here with the con, the little thing. Yeah. I'm trying to be
On top.
a good cosplayer.
Okay.
You're winning.
I think you're doing a good job thus far.
winning at cosplay.
So those are my plans. Also, I'm gonna try doing a few more like feminine characters. They typically do male characters for my cosplays. So next year, I'm gonna try to do that with purchasing and editing cosplays in between those 2 businesses. They're gonna be a lot of money. I have one backup in case I don't go for my gold star cosplay for Alias, but it's still a lot of work and it's still a lot of money. So in the meantime, between time, I'm gonna be buying cosplays, trying to do more female cosplays.
Okay. SJ.
I did actually read the questions over before I came, because I'm the type of person where I like to plan my answers as much in advance. Otherwise, I can be very awkward. But I was like, I don't know how much of my plans I want to reveal collectively. But funny enough, you actually mentioned one of my big plans collectively is, at least in not this year, because I don't think anybody would be ready for it, but in 2025 or 2026, I would like for the Bahamas to be in the cosplay world, the World Cosplay Summit.
Yeah.
And I would like to find a way to make that happen. There are a lot of restrictions, so you have to be very meticulous about who will go, because only 2 people from one country can go, and it requires a lot of
Planning and
prep, mental fortitude, confidence, money, all of that. So it would definitely be something that would have to be planned a year or 2 in advance. So I'm putting it out into the world that I would like for the Bahamas to do this in the next few years, and I invite anybody that would be interested in competing for the Bahamas to come talk to me. And see where we go from there. So collectively, that's one of my big goals. We have a lot of shoots lined up for next year, or at least ideas for shoots. The 202 Cosplayer Nation is going to MomoCon next year. Anyone, not necessarily, doesn't have to be a cosplayer. Anyone who would like to is welcome to travel with us. We do have some regulations to go through. But if you're interested in that, just either hit up Jussie so that he can put you in contact with me, or join our Discord, or come talk to me. I am planning, going to compete in Alias, definitely, and hopefully going in person as well. At least that is my plan. That is one of the cons that I'm dedicated or motivated to return to next year. And I'm also thinking about entering in a KaiCon's cosplay competition, maybe some other ones depending on what happens. I'm also trying to figure out my lineup cosplay and con-wise for next year.
All right. The first thing you mentioned on the World Cosplay Championship sounds like the Hunger Games of cosplay.
That basically is. And it's so funny because like a lot of people assume cosplay started in Japan, but it didn't. But the World Cosplay Summit is in Japan, and it is the biggest cosplay event. So, yeah.
Is that like the end all be all? Like if you win there, you could cosplay.
Well, honestly, again, like I personally, if this is the one advice I can give to anyone who, and that's the thing too, people cosplay for different reasons, so I don't like to give everyone the same advice because you may be cosplaying for a completely different reason than I am. But like for those of us that are interested in being craftsmen and entering competitions, do not enter a competition with the mindset that you have to win it, like, or that you don't judge your worth. Don't judge your worth based on whether you win or lose a cosplay competition. You will burn yourself out, and more than likely you will be disappointed. There are times, like I said, it can happen for you. I'm sitting next to two champions right now. But if you go into the mindset of thinking you're going to win, you're just setting yourself up for failure. And so, like, if I could give any piece of advice to cosplayers who want to compete in competitions, do it because you are obsessed with craftsmanship. You genuinely enjoy making costumes and cosplay. You want to make new friends who also cosplay and make their own stuff. You want to learn things. That is why you do it. Don't do it with the end-all be-all of I must win or else.
Mm-hmm. It's very good advice.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about the play, you know? All about...
Thank you. Yes, he does that a lot.
For me, honestly, just knowing that like we've never been there before and I played any role in making it happen would be enough for me. That would be a note to be like, okay, I've done my job. I've made sure that we are seen and recognized and have all the opportunities we need to succeed in this field.
And Lord knows if you actually win the prize.
And I would encourage a lot of people too.
Exactly.
Encourage a lot of people.
But I think you're slowly encouraging a lot of people just by social presence, traveling. Because let me talk about y'all scary people. Y'all. No. Y'all scary people who always be, y'all come see me out at different functions and say, I like what you're doing. I wish I could do that. Man, come, join in. Jump in wholesale. It ain't too late. You ain't even got to start off big. You can start off very small.
I know you got one of Katsuki something.
Yeah.
Every wait, I ready to actually burn mine because I thought I was so cool when I had one. So yeah, ain't no one else got this. I come to geek out. Everybody and they Grammy. I'm like, what's the
Everybody
point?
and they Grammy.
I kind of like that though.
It's a running joke.
I do too, specifically because the Akatsuki are a gang, so it's like it makes sense.
It realistically,
They'll need like a secret sign.
No, the
Yeah.
thing is, they don't come dressed as a specific character. You know, they
I know.
There's no ring, there's no sharingan, there's no headband. It's just a color.
See, and that's it. Everyone
Okay.
wants to be an
You want to be
NPC.
a father character. I come as a father character. Oh my god,
See, you bring up a very interesting point because like a lot of people assume cosplay, and it can be this if that's what you want it to be. Like, for one, what you are doing would be called closet cosplay. You're wearing something that's out of your closet, and you're making it a costume. And like, if you want it to be that, that's fine. But there are a lot more skills that go into cosplay from just putting on a costume, styling. Like, there's so many things you can do to make it interesting, making your own character by adding even just a few accessories.
different headband.
Exactly.
You wear a headband across your neck, or you wear it as a belt. Wait, anything,
That's
please.
creative.
So
Don't be father.
this upcoming geek out, I'm going to be doing a normal
What is normal for
costume.
you?
A very commonly done costume, but what I'm doing is
Just get some toilet paper, man. Wrap it around the body.
it's a normal costume. It's not from like a show.
Normal for who?
Yeah, right.
For like Halloween.
No. Is it normal for you or normal for the actor?
No, normal for like the idea of dressing up for Halloween. It's a
Because we know normal for you ain't normal.
No.
So,
well, that's what I'm saying. My what would you call it? Not root. My core of my costume would be a normal idea.
Right.
But what I'm doing is I'm changing a few things to make it my own.
so they ain't gonna be normal.
So
Like y'all don't know this, but like y'all inspire me and keep me motivated. That's why like I leaned in because it's like anytime y'all mention that y'all have like what you're gonna do. Yeah.
I've been swatch dyeing some fabric.
Yeah,
Some fabric to dye.
Just seeing y'all like working on something or interested in something, I'm like, yes. What are you doing? I like not necessarily because I want to take your idea or anything, but just because like you having an idea inspires me to want to work on something.
A little bit,
Yeah.
No, I agree. Just to speak to your point of not
Being
cosplay, yes.
I can't trust this.
I can't remember which con it was, but someone cosplayed as a CVS receipt.
And I love
No, it's really like, or maybe a
And I
pre
received marvelous spotter of art, or like it was
or someone walked around with a sign that I chose not to cosplay.
But like CVS receipts are canonically long as hell,
Yeah.
so they created a cosplay.
Like the COB theme party, the animal one. I didn't come as an animal. I went as a junglist.
Someone's from the wild.
Right.
I was gonna say the difference, but
Serious thing.
creativity. Think outside the box.
Everybody's like zebras and stuff. And I'm like,
But you got zebra straight and the leopard straight.
no paint in my hair. They did.
Listen, and I'm saying this for anyone who might be watching who's out there. Is there any Junkanooers in the cosplay community?
Well, see, here's my thing is like I feel like Junkanoo were the original Bahamian cosplayers.
That's what I mean.
That's how I feel.
I'm like, I know people in the Junkanoo community. I know y'all see us.
No.
I know y'all see us.
No, the thing is, we coming to meet and be scared, right? It's be like, bro.
How you could be scared of
Y'all
your
make costumes.
the whole dark.
No, because say they want to be. Junkie was just another Halloween costume. No. Well, they do all kind of things. They did a
couple times.
like one family did video game thing in 2019 where they had all the what are the Bellas?
Oh.
They had a bunch of Raidens as trumpeters, bro. Like
Somebody did Mortal Kombat.
yes, them.
They did.
Yeah.
Japanese, right?
Yeah.
And they did Smash.
They did like a
They
variety
did a
of
fighting
Mario.
video game.
Yeah.
No, it was Mario, not Smash.
Well, they will do that, but see, if it's outside, or, I go on to Harlem and I go on to Bay Street for boxing, and
Yeah.
they feel weirded out. Come over to the dark side, bro. Stop joking.
I will, don't call it the dark side. It's the light.
It's just like, come to the light.
No, but legit, like, my roommate's nephew, if you know the character Urbosa from Breath of the Wild, like, I have her amiibo. He was like, oh, that's Junkanoo. I'm like, babe. You know what I mean?
Like, if I start learning anything about jumping costume, y'all can come and talk to me.
Listen,
Bring your skills, be
hardboard, glitter,
I mean, to be honest with you, because I've judged and like hosted the cosplay competitions we do, I do know that there are a few people in our community that started out in Junkanoo, but like more. Bring more. Bring more.
When Ringo made those guns with the carbon, like they look so tired.
That's why I'm like, these Junkanoo people need to have some workshops.
They do.
We need to
What?
collaborate. I feel like we all collaborate. That would be wonderful. If anybody wants to collaborate, hit me up.
People
But-
want to build their things, but you know they need to know how to do it.
But those Junkanoo, stop coming to me, cause I tired of telling y'all. Oh, that's the next thing to do. Why you don't focus more on your culture? I'm like, bro, I started a Junkanoo trademark in 2018, dog. I've put on for the culture. There's just something else I'm interested in, but it's all one and the same, bro. It's just art and self-expression.
Cosplaying in the Bahamas.
Who?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You're doing it for the culture.
Yeah. So it's like,
That's focusing on your culture. You were instrumental in helping to build the Bahamian cosplay community. That is focusing on your culture. You don't really have it backwards.
and then the thing with it is all the same. Like
Yes.
you're crafting, self-expressing.
I think
So
Bahamas is a highly artistic nation.
yeah.
Extremely.
Once they get out of their own boxes that they put themselves in, there's so much art here, music. The lady, there's a house of assembly. She started doing shoes. Now she's doing bags. She has a store out on the Newport.
Aiden.
I don't know her name, but I remember seeing her Kickstarter or GoFundMe, and I bought shoes from her just because she was a Bahamian making shoes.
Correct. We now have Emerald making a Bahamian manga.
Yes.
And shout out to hopefully soon
And she's
Lamaru, Kunkman Comics.
Hey, they need no voice actors. My brother needs a job, please.
Stan Russell's,
Yes.
two of Stan Russell's, well, actually, no, sorry. The first one he did himself, I believe. He published himself. And the second one is in Saturday AM, which is an international
Maz Joshin, also
Also,
Bahamian
who does
artist.
comics.
So
And we can't wait for NASA Rock to come. By the way, I'm up for that.
don't wait till they get big. Like, oh, I know that one. I know that Asian person. Yeah, he Bahamian. Don't wait till they get big.
Support them now. Support them now.
And we just all just need your support to continue supporting the different creatives across these 700 islands, not just Nassau specifically. But I'd like to thank you, lovely ladies, for joining us on another episode 2 of Cartoons. We need a part 2 because I feel like we just scratched the surface with this
We
conversation.
did have a conversation about
Doing a craftsmanship panel.
All right, yes, we did.
Yeah.
Was it just sewing craftsmanship?
Well, craftsmanship, sewing would fall under that.
Yeah.
But yes. So
Part 2 in a week.
yes.
Most definitely. And then hopefully we get a therapist in here soon so we can talk about mental health and geekdom.
well,
Funny you should say that. My sister is actually Jasmine Collins. She is starting up a mental health podcast very soon. She knows quite a few therapists. She might be able to put you in touch with some. I would be happy to pass along her contacts to you.
For sure. Because we have our resident therapist who gives Mario therapy when he simping over. Leah.
I caught on to that one. Wait, no, I didn't.
I didn't.
I did, but I didn't.
Man. But no, but most definitely because it's like I say, this is a very nuanced conversation, and when you break it down, it's like we need a part 2. We done almost 2 hours in. But thank you all again for joining us on Tool for Cartoons. Gabe, you have any final thoughts?
Not a thought behind my eyes.
Until next time, we can see y'all later. Stay tuned for all our different announcements and our Halloween special. Madam Archie is coming back with a vengeance. I ain't say that for, I just hoping that for. Until next time, we can see y'all later.
Wait. I may have one more commercial. I can't tell you who it's for though. Okay.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Watching cartoons separates you from others.